Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's presentation on Coast to Coast Rail Vacations, or as I like to call them, once in a lifetime journeys, because why not, of course. But before we get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Jesse Avallo. I'm one of the managers here at the call center. Been with the company a little over 4 years now, and let me tell you all, I love to travel, so you're in great hands today. But before we even get started with the presentation, feel free to download your free handouts over on the and ask any questions at any time because we're going to have an open Q&A section at the end of the presentation. But before we even get started with any of that, let's get started by breaking the ice, everyone. Where are you all listening from? Where are you watching from? I'm personally in Boston, Massachusetts myself, so feel free to type away in the questions box where you're all listening from. Mathis, Texas, St. Louis, Connecticut, Warren, PA, Decatur, Illinois, San Diego. Wow, we have people from all over. Alabama, St. Louis again, Oklahoma City, Cincinnati, Chicago, Fortson, Georgia, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Beverly. I assume you're a Crimson Tide fan or Auburn fan? Nice. New York City, let's go. Allentown, Pennsylvania. All right, everybody, perfect. Alrighty, so let's go over what we're going to be covering in today's presentation. So we're going to be going over those coast-to-coast journeys, onboard iconic trains, or as I like to call them again, once in a lifetime trips, because truthfully, that's what they are. Across the U.S., the California Zephyr, the Coast Starlight, the Sunset Limited train, and the Southwest Chief train, the Empire Builder, and many more different train routes. We're going to talk about the benefits of upgrading to the roomette and bedroom sleeping options aboard the train. And we're also going to have, of course, an exclusive offer for all of you. We're also going to talk about, of course, how Amtrak is changing due to COVID-19. And we're also going to talk about ways to customize your itinerary to make it perfect for all of you. And of course, why book with Amtrak Vacations. So the Yankee Leisure Group family of brands. Here we're going to have Amtrak Vacations. We're going to have um, Yankee Holidays, and then we're going to have Rail Bookers. Easiest way to think of all of these is Amtrak Vacations is going to be all over the U.S. and Canada train vacations. Yankee Holidays is basically the same, similar packages without the train, and then Rail Bookers is going to be all across the country and Europe, all over the world. And the good thing about Yankee Leisure Group Amtrak Vacations is we can book as quickly as you need us to. So if you need to book tomorrow, we've got you covered. But if you need to push it out 24 months in advance, we've got you covered there as well. And here we have the Amtrak Vacation Systems map. So here you're going to be able to download this, of course. So if you haven't already, download this from the free handout section. We're going to have the Empire Builder up top there in blue. We're going to have the California Zephyr, which is that center line in orange, the Southwest Chief, and the Sunset Limited right at the bottom. We're going to be covering all of those routes in today's presentation, so definitely stay tuned. And I'm really excited about this. So the Great Getaway sale that we were running all of last week got extended to go to this week as well. It's going to be ending on June 12th. So definitely keep that in mind, the Great Getaway sale. I'm going to break that down a little bit more later on, but keep that in mind. That is still running, so definitely take advantage of it. Also, our maximum flexibility offer. So we understand that with everything going on, of course, you want to be you want to know that everything that you book will be able to get changed, adjusted, canceled. Don't worry, we've got you covered. So new reservations can change their travel dates or cancel their rail vacation up until 5 days prior to departure without incurring any change or cancellation fees. Existing reservations that have already been booked can be rescheduled up to 5 days prior to departure date without incurring any change or cancellation fees. You just need to book by July 31st, 2020 if you haven't booked already. All rail vacations are customizable. So you can start from your hometown. You can start from, let's say you're visiting family and friends and you're all going to be traveling together. You can start from that point. We can customize it to start however you would like or end wherever you'd like. What does customize really mean? I'll give you an example. So our Rails to the Grand Canyon package, we can add extra nights over at El Tovar on the South Rim. And then we can also add on a Los Angeles getaway at the beginning or at the end of the trip. We can customize it however you would like. And here we have a couple of examples of our frequently asked questions. One of the big questions we get all the time is, do I have to pay in full at time of booking? Not necessarily. If you're booking far enough in advance, more than 60 days, you can lock it down with just a deposit. If you're within 60 days, you would be paying full payment. But the good thing is you can pay however you'd like. If it's more than 60 days, you can pay in payments. You can pay all at once after you make that deposit. It's really up to you. Can I just get on and off the train whenever I want? Not necessarily, and the reason we say no on that is really because you want to be able to plan things ahead of time. We can put it all together. So let's say you wanted to stop in Chicago for a couple nights, then continue on to Denver for one night, and then go to San Francisco for one final night. You want to plan that out ahead of time because the train, there's only one train per day, and once you get off that train, you need to buy a new ticket. Can I start a trip from the closest station to me? Absolutely, not a problem. Like I said before, we can customize these trips to start from any point as long as there's an Amtrak station there. We've got you covered. And I know you're all wondering, how is Amtrak maintaining a safe environment? So, of course, facial coverings are in stations, on trains, and throughway buses is required. So you're going to need to have those facial coverings with everything going on, of course. Enhanced cleaning protocols. What I mean by that is literally minimum twice per hour, the train is being completely sanitized from top to bottom. And again, equipment is cleaned and sanitized frequently. Everything is cashless and contactless, so there's not going to be any payment of cash or anything like that. Definitely have your debit and credit cards handy. Um, Social distancing is done on board the train in the stations. There's posters, floor stickers all over the place to make sure that everybody is doing what they need to be doing for social distancing. Trains are running at no more than 50% occupancy to ensure that safe social distancing practice as well. But without further ado, I know why you're all here. Let's get into those packages. We've got 5 to go through, and we're going to start off with the Great American Majestic Landscapes. So this one, before I get into it, I always like to describe to everybody what exactly this picture means, just so you can understand the rest of the packages a little easier. So in New York City, you see that 2, that black circle with the 2? That means that's going to be 2 nights in New York City. The red line means you're on the train. And then you see that arrow, that red arrow with the 1? That means it's 1 overnight. So just so everybody can understand that a little bit easier as we go through. So this one in particular, you're going to enjoy the best of America on coast-to-coast train journey across the entire United States from New York City to San Francisco. Enjoy a multi-day sightseeing tour of the Big Apple. Get to know Chicago on a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour that will take you to all the popular landmarks, of course, like Navy Pier, Millennium Park. You're going to get to breathe in the fresh mountain air as you explore Denver and take in all of the sights. Discover all San Francisco has to offer. Spend a full day touring the two of the country's most famous wine growing regions, Napa and Sonoma. But we're going to start off in New York. So top picture, of course, that's the beautiful New York City skyline. Left, we're going to have the iconic Statue of Liberty. Bottom right, we're going to have a hop-on, hop-off tour through Manhattan. Sightseeing included in this one is going to be the multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of New York City. Once you finish up in New York City, you're then going to take the train, the Lakeshore Limited. You're going to take the Lakeshore Limited over to Chicago, which is going to be an overnight train. And of course, here in Chicago, we're going to have the aerial view top of Chicago, which is another beautiful city in its own right. Bottom left, we're going to have the iconic legendary Shedd Aquarium. And I'll tell you all from personal experience, when you go to Shedd Aquarium, you're definitely going to want to have the VIP, the Fast Pass, which we do have as part of the package, just because it's going to save you a boatload of time. I'll tell you from firsthand experience, those lines there are crazy. It's one of the most popular aquariums in the country. And then bottom right, we're going to have Navy Pier as well. So some of the sightseeing included in this itinerary is going to be a multi-day hop-on, hop-off of Chicago. The Chicago Attractions Pass, which includes Shedd Aquarium, Skydeck Chicago, the Field Museum, just to name a few. And then that's also going to give you VIP entry / Fast Pass access So you get to get into everything with avoiding all those crazy lines and getting to really save a lot of time, which is huge when you're checking out Chicago. Alrighty, once you finish up in Chicago, you're going to take my personal favorite route, the California Zephyr, over to Denver. And the reason it's my personal favorite, I'll tell you all from firsthand experience. That train route, how they made it, I'll never understand. It's literally weaving in and out of the Rocky Mountains, cutting through, not around them, through them. I have no idea how they built these train tracks, but it is a sight to see. I cannot do it justice. But once you get into Denver, um, the top picture here is going to be Rocky Mountain National Park, which is beautiful. Bottom left is going to be 16th Street in Denver. And then bottom right is going to be Union Station in Denver. Some of the sightseeing included in this one is going to be a sightseeing tour of Rocky Mountain National Park, which is a full day tour. And really fun fact about this one, because I've done this tour myself, um, beautiful scenery. Again, I can't do it justice. It's something that you really just want to experience for yourself. But on the way back, you get a special treat from this tour because it basically goes to the hotel that was the inspiration for The Shining. So definitely for any of my movie buffs, this is going to be a great tour, the Rocky Mountain National Park tour, to keep in mind. All right, once you finish up there, you'll continue on the California Zephyr into San Francisco. Top picture here, of course, is the legendary Golden Gate Bridge. Bottom left, we're going to have one of those cable cars in San Francisco. Bottom right, we're going to have the Napa Valley wine vineyards. And then while you're there, you're going to have a sightseeing tour of Napa and Sonoma. All right, but next, we're going to have a quick recap of everything there. So we have the Great American Majestic Landscapes. This is going to include a sightseeing tours of Rocky Mountain National Park and Napa and Sonoma, hop on, hop off tours in New York City and Chicago. Chicago Attractions Pass, which again gives you that VIP access to a lot of the different attractions. 8 nights hotel accommodations, 3 nights on board Amtrak, and it all starts from in coach in double occupancy, based on double occupancy, starting from $2,549 per person. And I know what you're all wondering. This one starts off in New York. Can I start it off from Philadelphia? Can I start it off from Boston? Can I start it off from Orlando? Not a problem. Again, we can completely customize this to your liking. Not a problem at all. You just want to contact your local travel agent or give us a call, whatever's easiest, but we can definitely do that for you. Alrighty, but let's go into the next one. We're going to have the Highlights of America Coast to Coast. This is going to be a brand new package that was put together based on what a lot of you were all doing manually with our sales team. So this is something that we created based on what we were seeing. Across America by train, begin exploring the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., before boarding the train to Chicago. From Chicago, you'll board the Southwest Chief and continue your scenic cross-country rail adventure. Head to the Grand Canyon, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. Then continue west to Los Angeles and the Pacific, completing your coast-to-coast adventure. But this one in particular is going to start in D.C. Top picture there is going to be the Washington Monument during the cherry blossom bloom. And let me tell you all, if you're going to go to DC, you definitely want to be there for cherry blossom season. That's going to be literally last couple weeks of March, first couple weeks of April. But it is something to see. This picture really doesn't do it any justice. It's beautiful. Bottom left, we're going to have the International Spy Museum, which was completely redone last year. So it's a completely new building. It's going to have a lot of great monuments. Definitely, you're going to enjoy that. Bottom right, we're going to have a hop on, hop off tour in front of the Capitol building. And then this is going to include admission into the International Spy Museum and a hop on, hop off sightseeing tour in Washington, D.C. Once you finish up in D.C., you're going to take the Capitol Limited train into Chicago. Up here, we're going to have on the top the Architecture River Cruise. Bottom left, we're going to have the Skydeck Chicago. Now, let me tell you all, if you're not a fan of heights like myself, that might not be for you. But if you have no problem with heights, that'll be a great experience. Bottom right, we're going to have the Chicago Beam. And then the sightseeing included in this one is going to be the Architecture River Cruise. We're going to have admission into the Skydeck as well. Alrighty, once you finish up in Chicago, you're going to take that Southwest Chief right to the Grand Canyon. Top picture here is going to be the south rim of the Grand Canyon. if you do a quick Google search, this is going to be the picture that pops up first and foremost. And as you can all see, again, picture does not do it any justice. For all of you that have for some of you that have been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is something you definitely have to experience. And there's a reason that it's on most Americans' bucket list. It's just something you got to see. Bottom left, we're going to have the Grand Canyon Railway train, which takes you from Williams up to the South Rim. And then bottom right, we're going to have the El Tavar, which is literally located right on the South Rim. So some of the tours included here are going to be round trip and coach accommodations on the Grand Canyon Railway train and a sightseeing tour of the Grand Canyon. I always like to include this map just so you can see really how much there is to do in the Grand Canyon Village. On the left, you're going to see where the majority of the lodges are. You're going to get to see like El Tavar, like I said, is literally right on the rim. Maswick, Thunderbird, Kachina. And here's the really cool part. So as a lot of you have probably seen before trying to get space here in the national parks of any kind, it's really tough to get. But luckily, we do have the allocated space. So you are fully covered with us. We can get you that space. We can get you that space literally in a week. We can get it for you in a couple of years. We can book it for you, not a problem. But the other reason I like to show this map is there is so much to do over at Grand Canyon Village. This is why we give you usually a full day to explore on your own, because there's just so much to do and so much to experience. All right, once you finish up there, so this is a picture of the Grand Canyon Railway on the inside. This is the train that takes you right up to the South Rim. Once you finish up in the Grand Canyon, you're going to take that Southwest Chief and continue on to LA. Top picture here, we're going to have, of course, the Los Angeles skyline. Bottom left, we're going to have Rodeo Drive. And then the bottom right, we're going to have the hop on, hop off tour on Hollywood Boulevard by the famous El Capitan Theater. So this is going to include a hop on, hop off sightseeing tour of LA. So quick recap of everything again. So highlights of the America coast to coast, starting from $16.99 per person, we're going to have admission into the International Spy Museum and the Skydeck Chicago. We're going to have the hop on, hop off tours in Los Angeles and DC. We're going to have the Architecture River Cruise in Chicago, the sightseeing tour of the Grand Canyon, and round trip on the Grand Canyon Railway. 7 nights hotel accommodations, 3 nights on board Amtrak, and again, it starts from $16.99 per person based on double occupancy in coach accommodations. Again, if you need to customize this to start from a different location or end in a different location, or even if you just wanted to start, let's say you wanted to skip DC altogether and you wanted to start in Chicago, absolutely, that can be done. You wanted to add a couple nights in the Grand Canyon, we can do that for you. Again, you just want to contact your local travel agent or give us a call directly. Next package I have is going to be the Americas Coast to Coast DC to San Francisco. This is a nice alternative if you're looking for something a little bit shorter. So this is a new package as well. So journey across the length of America by train, begin exploring the nation's in the nation's capital, DC, before boarding the train to Chicago, the Windy City, of course. From Chicago, you'll board the California Zephyr and continue your scenic cross-country rail adventure, pass over the Great Plains, through the Rocky Mountains, deserts, salt flats, and finally the Sierra Nevada mountains before reaching the West Coast, where you'll end your journey in San Francisco. So again, this one will start off in DC. So of course, the top here, we're gonna have an aerial view of Washington, DC. Shows the National Mall, which includes major monuments like the Capitol Building, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial as well. Bottom left, we're gonna have inside of Union Station, which is the train station. In my personal opinion, honestly, it's my favorite station. It's beautiful in there, and there's literally so much in there. It's really something to see. And then the bottom right, we're going to have the Capital Limited passing through small towns from DC to Chicago. So some of the sightseeing included here is going to be, again, the admission into the International Spy Museum and a hop on, hop off sightseeing tour in DC. From there, you're going to head over to Chicago. So basically the top, we have a couple of nights on the California Zephyr, just so you can see a different view from the Zephyr. Bottom left, we're going to have one overnight in Chicago, so you can see the city light up at night. And then bottom right, we're going to have the Chicago Union Station. One thing you're probably already noticing is Chicago is involved a lot in all of these packages, and there's a reason for that. Chicago is basically the central hub for Amtrak, which a lot of you might know. Basically, if you're going into any long distance train out to the West Coast, Chicago is basically the central point to catch that train. And then this will also include admission into the Sky Deck. So from Chicago, you're going to take that California Zephyr train over to San Francisco. Of course, the top, we're going to have the San Francisco Bay Cruise. Bottom left, we're going to have see the California sea lions basking in the sun at Pier 39. And I've done that myself. It's a really fun experience because they're so loud and they're literally just like fighting for supremacy in like in a funny, cute way over there. So definitely something to experience while you're there. And then the bottom right, we're going to have the hop on, hop off tour through the famous streets of San Francisco. And I know what some of you might be thinking. Is the Full House something that you can check out? Yes, I am a big fan of Full House and Fuller House. You can absolutely go to the house, take a couple pictures. They welcome it, the homeowners. It's definitely something to see while you're there. Um, this will also include a hop on, hop off sightseeing tour in San Francisco and the San Francisco Bay Cruise. So a quick recap of this one. America's coast to coast, DC to San Francisco. It's going to be a hop on, hop off tour in Washington, D.C. and San Francisco. San Francisco Bay Cruise, admission into the Sky Deck in Chicago. 5 nights hotel accommodations, 3 nights on board the Amtrak, and in-coach accommodations, it starts from $12.99 per person based in double occupancy. Again, if you need to customize this in any way, shape, or form, let's say you're starting from a different location instead of DC, not a problem. Just give us a call or contact your local travel agent. Next package we have here is the Coast to Coast Southern Rails. So this is a new package. This one only departs on Tuesdays and Sundays, and that's specifically because of the route, the Sunset Limited, which does not travel every day. So this one, tour the best of the American South on this Southern Rails rail journey that takes you from sea to shining sea, from Washington, D.C., take the train to festive New Orleans, legendary San Antonio, and sunny Los Angeles. Discover the best sights of all 4 cities and America's landscapes on a cross-country rail journey. So this one's going to start off in DC, and then you're going to take the Crescent train over to New Orleans. Now, New Orleans is one of my personal favorite cities, and I'll tell you why. I'm a big food guy. I love Cajun and Creole cuisine. Like, it is my favorite food out there. So if you're a big food person, if you love Cajun and Creole cuisine, you got to check out New Orleans. Top picture, we're going to have, of course, the legendary Bourbon Street in the French Quarter. Bottom left, we're going to have our Swamp and Bayou tour. Bottom right, we're going to enjoy a fabulous brunch accompanied by some of the most amazing jazz performers at the famous Court of the Two Sisters. So this includes the Swamp and Bayou tour in New Orleans and the Court of Two Sisters Jazz Brunch. Once you finish up in New Orleans, you're going to take that Sunset Limited train that, again, does not depart every day, over to San Antonio. And of course, top picture there is the Riverwalk. Absolutely beautiful, something you definitely got to check out while you're in San Antonio. Bottom left, we're going to have the Buckhorn Saloon. And then the bottom right, we're going to have the Alamo. So some of the sightseeing included here is going to be the hop on, hop off sightseeing tour of San Antonio, admission to the Buckhorn Saloon and Texas Ranger Museum, and then quick recap on this one. So Coast to Coast Southern Rails is going to be a hop on, hop off sightseeing tour of DC, Los Angeles, and San Antonio, Swamp and Bayou sightseeing tour in New Orleans, admission into the International Spy Museum and the Buckhorn Saloon and Texas Ranger Museum in San Antonio. So this one's going to be 9 nights total, 2 nights on board the Amtrak, and it starts from $19.49 per person, again, in coach accommodations. But if you need to customize it, not a problem. Just give us a call or contact your local travel agent. And here we have one of our most popular trips. This is a Northern Rail experience. This thing has been popular the last 5 to 6 years, if not more than that. It's going to be always one of our top 3 packages, period. And it encompasses basically 3 of our most popular routes. So from Chicago to Seattle, that's the Empire Builder route. From Seattle down to San Francisco, that's going to be the Coast Starlight route. And of course, from San Francisco to Chicago, that is going to be the California Zephyr route, which is cutting weaving in and out of the Rocky Mountains. But this one in particular starts in the central hub, um, which is Chicago, then continues directly over to Seattle. And of course, while you're in Seattle, top picture here is going to be the legendary Space Needle, because you can't go to Seattle without checking out the Space Needle. Bottom left, we're going to have the Public Market Center, more famously, as we all know, Pike's Place Market. A lot of you probably seen where they throw the fish clean over people's heads. This is going to be Pike's Place Market. And then the bottom right, we have the beautiful Seattle waterfront. Some of the sightseeing included here is going to be a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Seattle. Once you finish up in Seattle, you're then going to continue on over to San Francisco using the Coast Starlight route, which hugs the California coastline. Once you get into San Francisco, you're going to have the top here, the Sausalito. You're going to have the bottom left, which is Muir Woods, and then bottom right, the Palace of Fine Arts in San Francisco. This is going to include a hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of San Francisco, a sightseeing tour of Muir Woods and Sausalito, and a sightseeing cruise in San Francisco. So this Northern Rail experience is going to include the hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tours in Seattle and San Francisco, sightseeing cruise in San Francisco, a sightseeing tour of Muir Woods and Sausalito, 3 nights hotel accommodations, 5 nights on board the Amtrak, and it starts from the low price in coach based on double occupancy of $16.99 per person. Again, can be fully customized. You can do this in reverse. You can literally cut out Seattle. It's however you want it customized. I can't stress that enough. We can definitely get that done for you. Just want to contact your local travel agent or give us a call. And of course, we have different hotels to fit your needs. So we have a variety to choose from that fit every type of traveler. We work with Marriott, Hyatt, Hilton, Sheraton, as well as more boutique options depending on your budget, comfort level, and occasion. Why take the train? So many different reasons. I mean, one point I always like to bring up is, think about this. I've never heard anybody say this, but think about it. Have you ever had anybody get off a plane and say, wow, that was a great flight. Those clouds were beautiful. Never heard that, right? On the train, it's more about the journey than it is the destination. The sights that you get to see on board the Amtrak are just once in a lifetime. I mean, like I said, cutting in and out of the Rocky Mountains is amazing. Hugging the California coastline on the Coast Starlight, it's just something that you just can't experience by plane or by driving. It's just the Amtrak train can go where other things cannot. And of course, you can always stretch your legs. You can walk around the cabin. You're not confined to your seat like you would be on a bus. And the big thing too, there's no middle seat on board the Amtrak like you would find on a plane, because we all know from experience that middle seat is the worst. So you don't have to deal with that on board the Amtrak either. So one question that we always get all the time, what can I bring aboard the train for packing? So you get 2 free carry-on bags, 2 checked bags, and luggage can be checked 45 minutes prior to departure. And yes, you read this right. 2 free carry-on bags and 2 checked bags. The checked bags are free as well. So that's a huge benefit, because as we all know, a lot of the airlines now are starting to charge for even 1 checked bag. So that is fully included when you're traveling aboard the Amtrak. But let's get into some of the different accommodations aboard the Amtrak. First, we have coach. So what's included? You have reclining seats, you have storage for luggage, access to the dining car and sightseeing lounge car, and you can bring your own snacks and food. Now, I want everybody to just take a quick look at that. Just take a look at the legroom there. That's insane. Like, think about how you are on an airplane now, where everybody's just so scrunched together, or if you're bigger than 5'10", you're gonna have a struggle aboard an airplane. You're not going to have that on the Amtrak. There's no middle seat. You get so much legroom, and they recline 45 degrees, as you can see there. It's just a much more comfortable way to travel. But what if you have an overnight train? Is there a sleeping accommodation? Absolutely. So the first level sleeping accommodation is going to be the roomette. What's included on this one is going to be daytime seating that converts into beds, climate controls, small closet, full down table, restroom and shower access, bed linens, and here's the big kicker: all your meals are fully included. So when you have a sleeper, all of your meals are fully included: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And this includes assistance from the sleeping car attendant. So basically, the way that this works is during the day, it's going to be 2 chairs that face each other during the day. And basically at night, an attendant will go by, usually when you're having dinner, and just literally convert those two chairs into one bed at the bottom and a drop down bunk bed over top. They'll take care of that for you, so you never have to worry about that. So with the roomette, you also get private accommodations with the privacy door. So you can literally close that door and lock it from the inside. So you're completely enclosed. And we all know with everything going on right now, you definitely, if you can, you're going to have that private accommodation where you're separated from a lot of people. And here we have a different viewing angle of the roomette, just so you can see again. I'll tell you all, I mean, I've traveled on the roomette. I really do like it. Easily, you can sleep easily in the roomette, and I'll tell you, because I suffer from extreme motion sickness, not a problem sleeping aboard the train. I was really worried about that. It is very smooth, very comfortable. Another benefit is there's no better way to see the national parks. This example here, Glacier National Park, the lodge, when you step off the train, I can't make this up, is literally 204 steps away from the actual train station. It's literally right there for you. So there's no better way to travel to the national parks than aboard the Amtrak. One thing that's a huge benefit, especially with everything going on right now, is sleeping accommodation passengers board separately. So you're not going to be dealing with that crowding of everybody together. No, everybody is boarded completely separately. You're going to have sleeping accommodation passengers first, they get priority, and then you're going to have coach accommodations um, passengers right after that. There's also one level sleeper up, which is the bedroom, which is the highest level accommodation aboard the Amtrak. So this is going to be a little bit bigger of a room, as you can see there. What's included? A convertible bed, climate controls. It has an in-room sink and vanity with an enclosed toilet and shower. Bed linens and all meals are included as well. So one of the huge differences between this one and the roomette is the fact that you get your own private restroom in the room itself. So you have a sink, shower, and toilet in the room, whereas with the roomette, it is a shared restroom down the hall, but it's only shared with the passengers who have the roomette. And here we have a different viewing angle of the actual bedroom. And another huge benefit with everything going on right now is all of these dining options aboard the train can be delivered right to your room. So you don't need to go to the dining car. You don't need to do any of that. Everything can be brought right towards your room. That way you can just stay there and relax. Now, the one thing I always like to go over as well is dining aboard the train. So it's a little joke around the office that I am one of the most picky eaters you will find. And they're not lying. They're absolutely right. I absolutely love the dining aboard the train. Like, I love the steak on the Amtrak. It's literally one of top five best steaks I've ever had. So anybody who likes red meat, definitely get the steak for dinner. Breakfast, they have so many different options. Dinner, same thing. And then that chocolate cake, let me tell you all, that chocolate cake was amazing. Probably the best chocolate cake I've ever had. It is really something special. And the good thing about Amtrak is everything is fresh made to order on the long distance trains. So you never have to worry about having microwaved food or anything like that like you'd find on an airplane. Everything is fresh made to order by the chef on board the train. And just to remind you all, the Great Getaway Sale. So the sale got extended. It was supposed to end last week, but we just wanted to help everybody out. We got so many emails just asking us to extend it that we pulled the trigger. So basically, with the Great Getaway Sale, you can save up to $500 off per couple on any vacation package that you're looking at. So definitely contact your local travel agent, contact us directly to get more info on that. And just to remind you all as well, the maximum flexibility offer, which is huge. So new reservations can, again, they can change their travel dates or cancel their rail vacation up until 5 days prior to departure without incurring any change or cancellation fees. Existing reservations can be rescheduled up to 5 days prior to departure date without incurring any change or cancellation fees as well. So with all of this, you just need to book by July 31st of 2020 to qualify for this if you haven't booked already. So some of our everyday discounts. So seniors, travelers age 65 and over will receive a 10% discount on the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. Military, first and foremost, thank you all for your service. Any military out there listening, active duty military personnel, their spouses and their dependents receive a 10% discount on the rail portion of the Amtrak Vacations package. And I always like to save this one for last. So children age 2 to 12 receive a 50% discount on the rail portion of the Amtrak Vacations package. That is a huge discount, especially when you're traveling with families. Take advantage of that discount. Alrighty. But here we have our Amtrak Vacations website. Very easy to use. What I always suggest, if you're looking just to see what really sticks out for you, you want to go to the top left here. You're going to see destinations. You put your mouse over that, and then at the bottom of the little drop-down menu that pops up, you're going to hit View All Destinations, and it literally just shows you everything that we have to offer. And then you can really see what sticks out for you, and then give us a call, and we can put everything together for you, or you can contact your local travel agent, whatever is easier for you. So again, if you haven't already, if you just joined me later on, download your free handouts and your free map. And again, we're going to get to the questions portion in a quick second. Feel free to start typing away. But before we get there, I want everybody to take a quick minute, and I want you to type in what destinations you're interested in and when you're interested in doing them. So take your time putting that in there. All right, perfect. Did everybody get those in there? All right, awesome. So let's get right into the questions. Let's see what y'all have for me. Karen, Glacier National Park, which trip can be customized to include a stop there? Karen, great question. Any trip. I mean, literally anything. We can customize it to add in Glacier. It's however you would like it. Pamela Swanson, can we go to Grand Canyon in July? Absolutely, you can. Grand Canyon is actually going to be opening up um, on the 14th of this month, so absolutely you can do that. Grand Canyon end of July, Maryland Cook, absolutely. Lauren Jackson, can you clarify hop on, hop off touring? Some may not be familiar. Absolutely. Absolutely, Lauren. So easiest way to think about a hop on, hop off tour is basically think about it as like your transportation around the city. So basically, I'll use Boston as an example since I'm here. We have a trolley tour that basically takes you around to all the different major attractions. You basically get on the bus at any of the stops. It takes you around the different stops, and when you see something that you want to check out, like for example, the New England Aquarium, you can just step right off the bus, check out the attraction, and then get back on the next bus because they go by every 10 to 15 minutes usually. Great question. Sherilyn, can you arrive and depart from the same location? Absolutely. We can customize it to make it that way so where we do a complete loop. Absolutely. Karen Green, can I leave from New Orleans as a starting point to San Francisco and back? Absolutely. Let's see here. Can I start from Atlanta going to Seattle, Rosa? Absolutely, you can. We can definitely start it from Atlanta for you. Mary, great question. Do you have any options of the menus or photos of shared sleeping facilities so we can see what it looks like? Absolutely. If you go to amtrakvacations.com, we actually have a 3D viewer so you can see the actual sleeping accommodations. We'll also have some pictures there of the facilities as well as you can grab the menu there as well. Karen, how's the Wi-Fi on the train? Great question. So on the long distance trains, there's really not any Wi-Fi to be had. And that's simply because, like I mentioned, it's going in places that no car, plane can really go. So there's just not really much Wi-Fi access, but great question, Karen. Northern Rail Experience, Spring 2021. Dan O'Donnell, absolutely, we can do that for you. What about solo travelers, Susan? Susan, you can absolutely travel solo. Just remember everything that I went over was based on double occupancy. So basically, when you're traveling solo, you'd be taking on the cost of the trip, but you can absolutely travel solo. Lauren, great question. Can we select hotel accommodations by hotel? Absolutely, we can customize it because, like I said, we offer so many different hotel options that we can customize it for you. So definitely. Sandra was planning a trip from Boston to Vermont to Niagara Falls, then to the Grand Canyon, and then finally San Francisco. Is that Dennis? Does Amtrak do the Royal Gorge Scenic Tour in Colorado? I don't believe we do, but it's definitely something that we're looking at, Dennis. Nice question. Neil, great question. And hi from England. Nice. Are your sleeping cars upper and lower levels? Yes, they are located on the upper and lower levels on the Superliner train. So yes, they're located on both. Lynette, great question. Can you give me any more details on the Starlight train from Seattle to LA? So if you go to our website, amtrakvacations.com, you're gonna see some route guides in the About Us on the right. Feel free to grab any of those from there. Or give us a call directly or contact your local travel agent, Lynette. But definitely some more info there for you. Catherine, are there any gluten-free options? I don't believe, I'm trying to remember. I don't think there is, but I could be wrong on that, Catherine. I would definitely give us a call just to be on the safe side on that. But I don't think there is. Kelly, what tour is the hotel that inspired the Shining movie in? That's going to be over at the Rocky Mountains National Park tour in Denver. So that's going to be the tour that includes that. Great question. Steven, want to do Chicago to Arches? Absolutely, we can do Arches National Park. Absolutely, we have a great Arches and Canyonlands package. Karen, are there any travel packages 3 to 5 days? Absolutely. These were more once in a lifetime trips that are going to be across the country, but we absolutely have packages to fit everyone. So we have 3 day getaways, we have 4 day getaways. Again, we can customize it to however you would like, Karen. So definitely anything that you're looking for, we can put together for you. Great question. Bruce, great question. If you get off the train for a day or two, what happens to your luggage? So you would grab your luggage because we would have planned that out ahead of time. Um, so that you're going to be grabbing your luggage when you get off the train and basically taking that to the hotel with you. But great question. Bill Bennett, how are individuals with mobility issues handled? Not a problem, Bill. We have plenty of options. I mean, everything really runs with mobility impairments in mind. There's going to be an accessible room aboard the train. Same thing with the hotels that we offer. Same thing with the tours. So that wouldn't be an issue at all. Great question, Bill. Steven, does everyone have to wear masks? Right now, yes, on board the Amtrak. Sandra, didn't hear me. Don't worry, Sandra. You can absolutely do that package that you mentioned earlier that you were thinking about. You can absolutely do that. All right, everybody. So unfortunately, we are out of time. Again, if you have any additional questions, feel free to give us a call directly or contact your local travel agent. The phone number is right here at 1-800-268-7252. But I'd like to thank you all for joining me and taking time out of your day to see everything that we have here. And remember, these are once in a lifetime trips, but again, we can customize them to your liking, make them any way, shape, or form. Again, thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now.